all started with a mouse. But Disneyland, that started with a dad on a bench watching his daughters ride a carousel in Griffith Park. That's where the dream began. Walt Disney wanted a place where parents and children could have fun together, a place where imagination lived and breathed in full color. Before Disneyland, Walt Disney worked in animation. He began his career in Kansas City, creating cartoon ads, then moved to Hollywood in 1923, where he and his brother Roy opened a studio. In 1928, Walt and animator Ub Iwerks created Mickey Mouse, and in 1937, he released Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the first full-length animated feature. From there, Walt became a legend, forever changing the world of animation and entertainment.
The earliest concept for a park was modest, a little Mickey Mouse park across the street from the Burbank studio. Just 16 acres with a boat ride, a town square, maybe a few themed areas. But the idea kept growing, and Walt's imagination was never one to stay small. In 1953, he hired the Stanford Research Institute to help find the perfect location, and they landed on 160 acres of orange groves in Anaheim. That's when the real work began. He formed a new division called WED Enterprises, today known as Walt Disney Imagineering, and brought together artists, filmmakers, architects, engineers, and dreamers to build something the world had never seen before. To bring Disneyland to life, Walt Disney needed millions more than he had. He sent his brother Roy to New York to secure a $9 million loan, but it still wasn't enough. Walt ended up borrowing against his life insurance policy. Even that came up short. The ABC network offered $5 million in exchange for a television series about the making of Disneyland. Walt agreed, knowing it would not only fund the park, but also let him market it directly to viewers.
Mickey and I started out the first time many years ago. We've had a lot of our dreams come true. Now we want you to share with us our latest and greatest dream. That's it, right here. Disneyland.
In total, the park cost over $17 million, an enormous sum for the time. Many in Hollywood, even Roy, thought it was doomed to fail, calling it Walt's folly. Construction started in 1954. Walt had 1 year, $17 million, and a dream he refused to compromise on.
It was all hands on deck. Sets were built like movie backlots. Concrete was poured, boats were built, trees were relocated, some were even brought in from the side of the road. Walt wanted every detail to feel authentic, like it had always been there. Like we said, to help fund the park, Walt partnered with ABC, launching a weekly television series called Disneyland, which did more than entertain. It built anticipation. It invited America to watch the dream unfold in real time.
And so this week, just a matter of days away from the formal opening of Disneyland, we want to bring you up to date on what's been happening and let you share with us the joys and anxieties of our race against time. In this, our final report on building a Disneyland, I want to pay tribute to the many studio artists, craftsmen, and engineers whose untiring efforts helped bring this dream into a reality.
And on Sunday, July 17th, 1955, that dream opened its gates. Walt Disney stood at the entrance of Disneyland, beaming with pride, delivering a now iconic speech that would echo through generations. On day one, the Disneyland park offered 5 themed lands: Adventureland, Frontierland, Fantasyland, Tomorrowland, and Main Street USA, with a total of 20 attractions in the park. The original cost of admission was $1. When adjusted for inflation, that's equal to about $11.72 today. But the day that followed was absolute chaos. 28,000 people showed up, but only about half of them had been invited. The rest, they came with counterfeit tickets or just climbed over the fence. Temperatures soared to 101 degrees. The asphalt had been poured that morning and women's high heels sank right into it. The plumbing wasn't finished due to a plumbing strike, so Walt had to choose between working toilets or drinking fountains. He chose toilets, and guests were not happy. Food vendors ran out of food. Rides broke down. The Mark Twain Riverboat almost capsized due to the number of people on board. Traffic jammed the 2-lane road leading to the park. They called it Black Sunday. The opening day of Disneyland was broadcast live by ABC to an audience of 70 million people, a massive viewership for the time. The hosts were Art Linkletter, Bob Cummings, and future President Ronald Reagan. But despite the star power, the telecast was kind of a mess. The video and audio kept cutting out, cameras lost focus, and Walt's microphone failed right in the middle of introducing Tomorrowland.
Signifying man's achievements. I thought I got a signal. Before our preview of Tomorrowland, I'd like to read these few words of dedication. A vista into a world of wondrous ideas, signifying man's achievement.
And the hosts weren't immune either. Linkletter lost his mic, and Cummings was caught kissing a dancer on live TV.
Well, folks, as you can see, I'd like to stay here at the Mardi Gras forever.
Guests were tripping over cables. It was far from perfect.
But here's the thing. Even with the heat, the chaos, the hiccups, the dream worked. Kids were smiling, families were laughing, people were stepping into worlds they'd only imagined. And Walt, he saw it, he felt it. The park was alive. The press wasn't kind at first, but Walt invited those guests back again to experience the park the way it was meant to be experienced. And slowly, Disneyland became what he had always hoped it would be, a place where magic felt real. Over time, the park grew. New lands were added, new attractions were added, and whole new parks opened. In 1965, work began on a new project in Florida that would become Walt Disney World. Though Walt passed away in 1966 and never saw it completed, the park opened in his honor on October 1st, 1971, and would grow to include Epcot, Disney MGM Studios, and Animal Kingdom. Walt's dream didn't stop there. Disneyland expanded around the world, first in Tokyo, then in Paris, later Hong Kong and Shanghai, each one carrying a little piece of that original Disneyland magic with it. But there's still something special about this Disneyland, the original, the only one Walt ever walked in.
And maybe that's the real magic. Not that it opened on July 17th, 1955, but that it's still opening every single day to new families, new dreams, and the same old feeling that anything is possible. And the most magical part, some of that 1955 magic is still here. A lot has changed, new lands, new technology, new generations walking through the gates, but some things, some very special things, have stood the test of time. They're the attractions Walt himself oversaw, the ones that opened with the park that hot July day, and today we're stepping back in time to experience them, just like guests did nearly 70 years ago. Let's start right here on Main Street, USA, with the Main Street Cinema. On opening day, this was a quiet spot to escape the crowds, and it showed silent movies with stars such as Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton. Today, you can watch some of Walt Disney's first animated efforts playing throughout the day on 6 separate movie screens, like Steamboat Willie and Plane Crazy. Hi, Mickey! Hi! Hi, Dale! Hi, Goofy! Hi! Thank you! Next, hop aboard the Disneyland Railroad. Walt Disney himself loved trains, and this one has been circling the park since day one.
You see Mickey Mouse there at the controls. And that's an exact duplicate of the engines that ran over 50 years ago. You can see the conductor there with his brass buttons glistening in the sun, the arms of the children. Hello, Walt. Hello, Governor. Hi. Boy, how'd the run go?
Oh, fine, fine. The governor had her around through Frontierland, and then Fred Gurley there, he took her around. I picked her up and brought her in. Highballing in, boy.
Hello, Governor.
Glad to see you, Art.
Governor Knight of California, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not just transportation, it's a piece of Walt's heart.
As we leave Toontown Depot, we get a real nice view of the happiest land of them all, Fantasyland. You can see people stepping onto It's a Small World just below us. And, off in the distance, majestic Matterhorn Mountain.
Now this one has had a few makeovers, but Autopia was a big deal in 1955. At a time when freeways were still new, letting kids drive their own car, mind-blowing. Still kind of fun today, even if you bump the track a few times.
Just a spoonful of sugar, have some medicine, go down. There's something so timeless about the King Arthur Carousel. Walt bought some of these horses secondhand and had them hand carved and repainted. Each one has a name, and if you can find jingles, that's the horse that's dedicated to Julie Andrews. This one is pure chaos in the best way. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride has been zipping guests through mayhem and hell since opening day.
Wind in the Willows inspires this ride, Mr. Toad on a 1903 automobile. And believe me, this ride is the wildest of them all. The automobile goes through on a monorail, pursued through London town by police, crashing through walls, and finally goes in to a tunnel. And as you go into the railroad tunnel, you apparently see a train coming in the opposite direction. You can't turn, you can't escape. There's a tremendous collision head-on to the locomotive, and then I can't tell you the finish because I don't want to spoil it for you. This is a ride that not only parents should go with children, but the parents' parents should go with the parents. Danny Thomas, this is just the ride for you. Go on in. Oh.
It's weird, it's dark, it's honestly iconic, and we love it.
Draw a safe and glorious drop. It's time to get through to the passage.
That is all.
It's not a trip to Disneyland without flying over London in Peter Pan's flight. From the very beginning, this one's been a fan favorite, and it still gets some of the longest lines in Fantasyland.
Safe flight. Please remain seated with your hands, arms.
Come on, everybody. Here we go.
Feeling dizzy? Well, you will be. The Mad Tea Party, yep, the original spinning teacups, they're still here. You can spin or don't if you just had lunch.
Oh Shouldn't have had that chimichanga.
This one's had a facelift, but it's the same roots. Now, it's Snow White's Enchanted Wish. It's a little less spooky, a little more sparkly, and still opening day approved.
Be sure to arrive safely.
For something charming and often overlooked, the Casey Jr. Circus train is a gem. It actually opened a couple weeks after opening day, but it was an original on the map and it had soft openings, so we're counting it. Casey Jr. is the Storybook Land Canal boats, which also soft opened during the opening day chaos. It was originally called the Canal Boats of the World, and the banks of it were just filled with weeds. But Walt had an ingenious solution. He had signs placed along the river claiming that the weeds were exotic plants with fancy Latin names. It did close, but reopened the following year, and it's been enchanting guests with tiny villages and magical views ever since.
Now, friends, it may look like we are being swallowed whole by Monstro, the same whale that swallowed Pinocchio and Geppetto. However, in our case, folks, he just taking us into a magical land we like to call Storybook Land.
The land, friends, can be filled of mystery and enchantment, like the enchanting city of Acrobat, where the beautiful Princess Jasmine met the street rat Aladdin one day at a market. They fell madly in love, my friends, and now live in their whole new world, and they're beautiful, totally. The beautiful artist, friends, you're seeing right above you, happens to be the same one that Princess Jasmine and Aladdin flew over, sideways, and under on a magic carpet ride for their whole new world. And of course, happily ever after. Just around the corner, my friends, they come upon a little cottage. The same one Princess Snow White found in the forest running away from the evil queen. The cottage homes to 7 dwarfs, and you might have to hear them whistling as they work. Speaking of great adventures, my friends, we make our way down towards the town of Arendelle, home to the 2 queen sisters, Anna and Elsa. If you listen closely, my friends, you might actually hear Elsa singing in her ice palace.
Few things are as peaceful and classic as a ride on the Mark Twain Riverboat. Walt was on this boat on opening day, piloting it himself. Today, you can still feel that sense of old-fashioned Americana as it cruises the rivers of America. And of course, the Jungle Cruise, an original e-ticket attraction back when those were actual tickets.
Bye to everybody on the boat. Yeah, this will be the last time you guys see each other. Oh, guys, look at this. This is unheard of. That's right, folks. The whole family is here, and guess what? They all have on their trunks, so go ahead and take as many pictures as you want, yeah. Oh, look! Danger! Let's explore! We met the hippos. Did you see the one in the tree? What do you mean hippos can't climb trees? You guys are silly. The backside of water! Oh, 2, 8. That is a python in a tree. H-I-S-S-I-N-G. Guys, you know what the difference between a python and a boa is? Boas have feathers. Ah!
And last but not least, the Golden Horseshoe Saloon. Walt and Lillian had their own box right here. They watched a little review show filled with live music.
Walking through Disneyland today, it's amazing how much of Walt's original vision still lives and breathes. These aren't just rides, they're living history. Disneyland isn't just a place, it's a feeling. The joy that lingers long after the fireworks fade. And maybe that's why we keep coming back. Not just for the rides or the shows, but because in a world that moves so fast, Disneyland reminds us what it feels like to believe in something, to slow down, to wonder, to dream out loud. So whether you were there in 1955 or you're just walking through the gates for the first time today, welcome. Because this isn't just a theme park, it's Walt's dream. And now it's ours. Happy birthday, Disneyland. Thank you for showing us that dreams really do come true.
Now the plaque reserved for last. A few words of dedication for the happiest kingdom of them all, Fantasyland. Here is a world of imagination, hopes, and dreams. In this timeless land of enchantment, the age of chivalry, magic, and make-believe are reborn, and fairy tales come true. Fantasyland is dedicated to the young and the young in heart, to those who believe that when you wish upon a star, your dreams do come true.